Hey everybody, Pete Meyer, Motor Age Magazine. Thanks for hopping on. No matter where you might be watching, whether it's on any of our Endeavor Business Media Vehicle Repair Group YouTube channels, Facebook channels, even on LinkedIn. So wherever you are, welcome this evening. As you can see, I'm joined by tonight's guest, not only a guest, but a very good friend, Jerry Truglia. G, how are you, my friend?
Not bad, Pete. How are you, and how's everyone else out there?
Yeah, I know you've been a busy man. In fact, we had some fun last night in two separate classrooms, right?
Exactly.
In our online sessions. But that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. You know, to everyone who's watching, you know that G and I have been working together over a decade now to bring you guys live online content. I'm going to plug that right now. We have one coming up in 2 weeks.
Yes.
A week from Saturday.
Yes, that
week
is
from
correct.
This Saturday. So it's getting close. You can find out if wherever you're watching, Facebook page or Motor Age, you can find the information there, or you should be getting some announcement on it. But yeah, come out and join us. But you know, I say that because we have a great, what's the word I'm looking for, passion for bringing training and information to you, because we know how hard it is to make a living in this field. In fact, G especially still does. He's still a shop owner. He's got some young techs that he's mentoring there in his place. But of course, G has been around a long time. He's a nationally renowned trainer in his own right. Trainer, author, you name it, he's done it twice.
Been around too long, that's why.
One of the things that he's done was help to found, I should say, a nonprofit called Technician Service Training, more commonly heard around us as TST. And that, my friends, is where we're here to talk about tonight, not just TST. Well, you know what? Let's start with that. Give us a little background on what TST is, how it came to be.
All right. So a little background from TST. Prior to TST, there was SAE group called STS, Service Technician Society. I was a board member for quite a few years, and then the last president. The reason why I was the last president, not that I killed it, as my buddy Mark Warren says. SAE decided that technicians were too tough to deal with in getting them in training. So single-handedly back then, I've taught from Hawaii, Alaska, every state except one, Wyoming. And make a long story short, I recruited a lot of people into the STS group. And we did provide training. Our local chapter here in New York was the biggest and most successful chapter. We spread out to Massachusetts. Then we went to New Jersey, and then we went to Connecticut. So we did 4 states, originally 12 months out of the year, then down to 10. And then we kept it at roughly about 8 months out of the year. Then TST was born when STS pulled out. And myself, and at the time, 19 others, technicians, shop owners, a couple of other educators. And now we're down to basically myself, Pierre, Eric Dibna, and a few other people as board members. We do have Rich Peterson, who's been with us from the beginning. We have associates like Ed Hazard. We have a couple of other people out there, John Baer and John Grossman, that help us out. But basically, you know, myself and Doreen, we really do the bulk of it. And then Pierre is our right-hand man. And as you know, Pierre was on with you last night for our monthly TST. And by the way, if you missed it out there, diesel info for the non-diesel tech. So I got to tell you, great class that Pete put on. And if you want to see it, we've had a lot of requests, by the way, Pete, where other people did not sign up. Normally, we don't do this, but check with the TSTSeminars.org website. You can go on and actually view it. It will cost you. You'll have to sign up, and Doreen will send you a password. But you can do that. That was a great class. And coming up, we have something that you're going to be working on. Motor Age has been a great partner with us. As Pete said, we've been working together for 10 years. And TST has been doing this grassroots thing. This is our 19th year. That's why it's called the TST Big Event number 19. So we've been doing this for 19 plus years and 6 years prior as STS. And the whole goal, myself, Pierre, and all of the rest of the people that are involved, we donate our time. No one gets paid anything. Sometimes we don't even get expenses. And, that really stinks when the money comes out of your pocket. But we all love helping other technicians. This industry, Pete, has been good for me. It's been helpful. As you said, not only being an author, I've done radio, I've done TV, I've taught in, 49 of the 50 states. I've taught over in our Marines in Okinawa, Japan, the U.S. Navy. I've done a lot that you got to give back is where my brain is always at. We got to help the young guys. We got to pull people into this industry. In my opinion, is the most important thing. We need young blood out there. And I see we got people on from different countries. That's great. At our big event, we would pull people from 6 different countries besides the United States. So, training is for everyone, no matter where you're at. You never know enough. You never know everything. And someone always tells you something. Like the great comment, I'm going to throw this out there, Pete, that we had a diesel shop actually email TST today. They were on last night with Pete, and they had one of the young, new upcoming people that doesn't know a lot about diesel. And here, these are diesel technicians in a diesel shop. That's what they do. And they basically said in just short terms that the class was super helpful to a new technician that knew nothing about diesels. And they learned something even as seasoned diesel technicians. And to me, not only the big thank you, but that really means a lot. We try to put on the best instructors. Right now, we've been doing it with the pandemic, I'd say 10 months out of the year. So we're going to continue to try to do that, maybe just take July and August off, because most people, when you're up here, not where you are, Pete, in warm weather, although we had a 60-degree day today. But up here in the real world, where it does get cold, when it's nice out, there's the honey-do list. And, we got to get out and do things, not just train. So that's our vacation time.
Right.
So TST is about helping others. And again, with the 8, and correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, Motor Age TST events that we do. And like Pete said, in 2 weeks, one coming up, they've been very successful helping technicians out there. And that's why TST is a part of it. Our goal is really to help you guys out there and help ourselves, because something we don't know as well. So always the feedback and just the camaraderie, it's all good.
Yeah. And I got to stress something to all you guys and gals who are watching. Not only G, but many of the instructors who have come to present a class for him, for TST members and non-members, if you wanted to participate, they don't block you out if you're not. But pre-pandemic, these guys would actually, I used to call it the circuit ride. You would actually go to 4 different locations to the different TST chapters up there in the greater New York City area, and do the classes in person. And to a man and woman that presented there, share the same passion that you just heard G express. I'm going to be real honest with you. If you're looking at training as a career, you're not going to get rich from that. That's not why we do it. And that's not why any trainer I've ever met really does it. It's because they have a passion to help other men and women in this business get better at their skills. So very first thing I want to point out for you guys is go to their website, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's tstseminars.org.
Correct.
Right. So that's the website. And you want to make sure that you check that out. And if become a member, there's a lot of resources there that you will more than gain your membership dues back. And remember, this is a nonprofit. Nobody on that board gets paid. When they help us out for the webcasts, when I go up, G's opening up his shop to us. They have equipment of their own there, and like you said, it's the four of us between G, Vice President Pierre, and G's lovely wife Doreen, working on the back end. He couldn't do it without him, so we want to make sure we give a big thank you to that. But the other thing that I really want to bring about are the big training events you mentioned, the big event. It's like there are a number of training events coming up, especially right here in the end of the first quarter, start of the second quarter of the year. We've got Vision, we've got you guys, we've got I think the SDX
World Pack
event, we've got 1st of April, we've got the Nowaka Northwest chapter, I should say Northwest Auto Care Alliance now, having their event up in Seattle. There's a number of great events for you to take advantage of. And yes, the webinars that we do, I know especially with G and I, from the beginning, we've tried to make it as hands-on as we can in that online environment. We always do hours in the shop. We use real vehicles as much as possible to demonstrate the processes. And we try to react to questions just like we can tonight, no matter where you're watching. If you have something to say, you can just type it in there and we can respond to you. But nothing beats being in the same room. There's just a vibrance there, an energy there, not just from your interaction with whoever's presenting with you, but from the other people in the class. And then before, during, and after, between sessions, the networking, the ability to share notes, compare notes with other techs from around the world, in many cases, is there for you to take advantage of. So whichever one you pick one at least, and try to strive to do that this year, because now, hey, we're starting to get back into open sessions where you can actually go to another live event. It's been like 2 years since we've been able to do that. So now's a great time to get out of your house, dust off the cobwebs, and get out there and mingle with some of technicians and shop owners and instructors and students who have the same mindsets that you do. I also want to point out something here that G didn't mention yet. In fact, I'm sure it will come up, but not only is this a live event, which has set some record numbers, I'll let G explain everything, how that goes on. But if you can't, this is really good news. If you can't be there in person, you can be there virtually. So it's the next best thing to have a front row seat. Now I'm going to be helping out with the board to make the stream. So, it's like when you go to a football game, it's exhilarating to be at the football game. Even if you're in the nosebleed seat, you can barely see the crowd, right? But true. If you're online and watching it on TV or streaming it to your phone, well, you got the best views all the time, right?
That's true.
So it's a win-win. You show up. There's a lot of benefits to being in person. If you can't, doing it virtually, there's a lot of benefits to that. And that's not all of the unique features about the big event that separates it from the others. So, G, tell us a little bit more about those.
Well, first of all, the TST Big Event is a unique event where everyone experiences the same thing because, unfortunately, due to COVID, now there's no COVID restrictions in New York, but there is a cutback. You don't have to wear a mask. You don't need to be vaccinated to actually attend the event, but we are limited to the number of people. We can't have our 700 plus people. Okay, so we are limited because they want to space people out. And I guess I can't blame them. At any rate, the event is unique because unlike the great World Pack or Vision shows, they're great. There's no doubt. I mean, I teach at the event, so I can tell you. And of course, I go in and see my fellow instructors and see what they're doing. But those events are great, but everyone has a different experience. If I go see Pete and my buddy Bernie is teaching somewhere else, I don't get to see what Bernie was doing because I'm watching Pete. With the big event, everyone sees all three instructors and our keynote speaker. They get the same experience so they could yak about that information. Then we do something unique to everyone who attends. they get 30 days to view the whole big event. And you really can't beat that with a stick. So the big event, we feed you a hot breakfast. This is at a Marriott hotel. It's a really nice place, renovated right before the pandemic, right before we were supposed to go in there and run it. So it's been totally renovated, a real nice place, safe area, less than 20 minutes to the World Trade Center in New York City. Hudson Valley area, you probably heard of the Rockefeller estate. Rockefeller is one of our vice presidents of the U.S. Our great Tappan Zee Bridge, okay, a real beautiful structure there. There's some other name, but we threw that name away already. But at any rate, it is a beautiful area. People come up and take a vacation sometimes when they come. It's a one-day training event where, again, hot breakfast, hot lunch, snacks, and beverages throughout the day, but 3 great instructors. And this year, you want to learn about electricity. You want to know about wiring diagrams and how to read them and get proficient at them. Well, we got my buddy Peter Orlando coming back from CTI. Now, Peter Orlando is one great instructor. He got shot in the throat. I know Peter for years. He's from Brooklyn. I'm from the Bronx. A little bit different, but we get along just well.
It's like the diesel thing yesterday, right? Same but different.
That's it. Same but different. Then we have George Lesniak. And George Lesniak works for Autel. And Autel right now is the leader in ADAS equipment. Now, last year we had John Anello virtually, who does a lot of ADAS and uses Autel equipment. But from what I've seen of a presentation Mr. Lesniak has, George is one smart guy, used to be with CTI and others. You know, I know him for years. And he is basically effectively going to do ADAS calibrations. Now, people don't understand how to perform a proper calibration. And when there are certain problems with targets or the room you have, so he's going to have a little short step. Our first with Peter Orlando is going to be about 3.5 hours long. Lesniak does about an hour and a half. And then in the afternoon, my buddy, great friend, Kenny Zanders. Kenny Zanders is basically going to do GM infotainment system and the MOST system. Now, there's big problems on these because the more junk they add to vehicles, the more problems you're going to have. Now, Kenny will also go out about 3.5 hours and made a special presentation just for TST on this subject. Now, here's the great kicker. You're there live, you're going to get a Fire 7 Android tablet with all that on there, yours to keep. So we don't want you bringing any old ones. It's all preloaded. And you're going to get a chance to win great prizes. Now, I can't guarantee the same amount we've had, at least in the last, I'd say 4 live events, somewhere in the range of $50,000+.
Wow.
And that was given away. People walked away with scan tools, smoke machines, other equipment, you know, identifiers. Bacharach, the old Neutronics, has given away a lot of stuff. Our friends at GTC, they gave away a lot of the GTC 505 little ignition testers worth about 300. They gave 50 of them away. So think about your chances of winning with all the stuff we had. In fact, I wind up losing my voice, Pete, because I'm always announcing a damn winner.
Yeah.
And then what we also do for evaluations, because we love your feedback. Your feedback helps make our event better. So we give cash prizes out. We randomly pick. These are all in writing. We give you 1 to 4 scale, how to rate the instructor, and what you would like to see, what you didn't like or like. Then we pick it out and we give anywhere from $20 up to $100. And we do that after each instructor. Then we got a great keynote speaker, Calm Caprietto from Remarkable Results. And by the way, you can rub shoulders with all these people. Some of our sponsors, like the great Wayne Colonna from ATSG, will be out there. Scott Brown will be there. Many others, of course, Pete, you can annoy him, but he'll be busy. I'm keeping him busy.
He's going to be busy.
And then, of course, you could come up to me. I walk around like a big moron, so you could ask me a bunch of questions or whatever. And we do have 2 huge screens up front, 4 60-inch monitors throughout the place, a good sound system. So no matter where your seat is in the house, you could see quite well and hear quite well. The other thing is we usually get 40 plus vendors. That'll probably be half of that this year because, again, to restrictions of the Marriott Hotel. But we already have some great sponsors and other ones that are maybe not coming because of COVID. They'll be donating stuff. So if you haven't signed up for the great TST Big Event, you can do it live in person where you get the tablet and you go to www.tstseminars.org. That's tstseminars.org. And if you can't make it, well, you can't win the prizes. You can't shake my hand or Pete, but you could do it online, virtual. Okay. And we give you PDF handouts of it. So it's a great event. It is a full day event. We start checking people in 7:00 in the morning. You can go see the vendors. There's 2 15-minute breaks during the day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, an hour and a half lunch, so you can still see the vendors. And by 6-ish, you're somehow out of there. Okay. We usually, a lot of vendors stay to 7:00. So it is one great full day. We've been asked to do 2 days, but again, with the restrictions, we just left it down to our normal 1 day. And don't forget, 30 days, whether it's online or you're there in person. And people come from all over. I had a guy call me from Texas yesterday just to make sure there was no restrictions and he can make it out here. And he signed up and he's coming out.
So, how many seats do you have for the live event, G?
We probably, in the live event for this year, we probably have about 200 seats left.
Oh, okay. Left?
So there's still time to sign up. There's about 350 seats that we have in total. We can't, again, do the total amount. It seems like they cut everything in half on us.
Right.
And again, that would be for everyone's safety. We will have tons of Purell around. Not only that the hotel does, we will have masks if you want to wear them. I won't be wearing one, but you're more than welcome to wear one. And again, there's no restrictions whatsoever on, having a vaccination card or any of that. And maybe for your own safety, maybe when you're on the food line, well, maybe not a bad idea to wear a mask, right?
Yeah.
Up to you. I leave that up to you. I will do that even myself when you're close, because you never know if someone else has a problem, right? And I know some people, they have an immune disorder or something, or a family member. We need to be respectful of each other. And then like tomorrow, I got a 3-day class coming up. I got to wear a mask the whole day because one thing that's not lifted, I'm under the Board of Education here. And in my classroom, I have to wear it, and the attendees have to wear it. But at the hotel, no restrictions. So and outdoors, you don't have to wear it either. So up to you what you want to do. Yeah.
And it's a little off topic there, but we do have a friend of ours, Scott Tucker, out there watching on YouTube that did ask a quick question. I'd like to go and address part of it. Thinking that there will be a standard ADOS system and just like OpenE2. I'm going to throw my 2 cents in there. G can add in his 2 cents. If you want to know, then George Lesniak is the man to listen to, number one. And as far as any kind of standard, right now there's a couple of different ways that these ADOS systems calibrate. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were some uniformity in how it gets done as these systems develop. But I'm not going to say there's going to be a single standard for that. That's going to take a lot of effort in my mind to get the OEs to agree to something like that. But I think they may see some uniformity develop. But if you want to know the facts, then sign up for the big event and either show up in person to listen to what George has to say or virtually what George has to say. As far as the link for information and the site, wherever you're watching, that should be in the video description. So you can actually right click on it, open it in a new tab, and you can go right there right now, while we're talking, if you want to check it out and save your seat. Only a couple hundred left, and they're going to go fast. I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to go fast. This is a very popular event. I think last time you had close to 700 people in the seats.
Correct. 700 people.
And I'm sure that many of them are anxious to get right back there again. So it's not the reason that's why we're doing this tonight, because we're still about a month out, right?
Yes, and a lot of people are still confused, Pete. They see you and I do a lot of webinars. I mean, yesterday I did 2 webinars. You did 1. people still think it's only going to be virtual. So we
Right.
field a lot of calls and they go, "You're really going to do it live?" Yeah, that's why we put live on it. And we want to give you the opportunity. There's a lot of people signed up online. Obviously, that doesn't matter. We can put over 1,000 online. That's not a problem. The problem is we can only fit so many in the seats, and that is the difference.
Yeah.
So, come out. You could even ask someone like John Anello. I've worked with the Bosch system and an Autel system. They're a bit different, like Pete said. John Anello sometimes uses the factory software to actually calibrate it with his Autel system. So, you may want to speak to someone that does a load. As far as I know, for a mobile guy, he does a whole bunch of them, a load of them, okay, and has a lot of experience. We also have a couple of guys that I know and John knows that run it out of a shop, which is probably the best way to do it. But John goes around and does shops that have the proper space and the proper setup. So he is out there 5 days a week doing these things.
Yeah.
So, you could rub shoulders with people like that in the audience. And not only that, but Kenny Zanders and, many others that may not want me to mention their names, but a lot of people come out, they want to be there, So we do get a lot of top instructors that come to our event. In the past, again, doing this, we've had every major instructor teach for us, and that is a biggie for a little non-for-profit group. Again, we're not funded by big money or anything. We're doing this to help technicians. And it really, what goes around comes around. That is a true thing. From doing this stuff, I met Pete, right? I mean, we would have never probably met each other if we weren't doing this. We did stuff for years prior to our partnership with Motor Age. I mean, we were in the infancy of doing webinars. I was the P10 web guy when they first started, but we did it before because they see me on webinars.
Yeah.
So it's all good, but the bottom line is it's all about helping each other. Going to the big event is really a great experience. Why people come back year after year because they really get a lot out of it. And we appreciate everyone that has been there. I see a couple of comments, and hi to everyone out there. I'm trying to read and talk at the same time to the camera, so it's a little off. And
welcome to my
just
world.
want to say thank you for even being on.
Yeah.
I could walk and chew gum at the same time, Pete, and walk and drink.
See, that's the advantage. He's got the background help. When I do my stuff down here in Florida, it's just little old me. But do you want to just a quick question too? We have another question about the masks at the event. And just to reiterate what G said, no, there is no mandate at the hotel. But certainly, exercise your own common sense. What makes you comfortable? You want to wear one. If you, but you're not required to wear one. Okay.
Right. And if you want to bring your own, we'll have some there. Maybe you change your mind the last minute. You get a little nervous, see a whole bunch of people, and go, "Whoa, I think I want to put a mask on." Well, we'll have it there. Hand sanitizer. The hotel has hand sanitizer as well. We'll be ready to rock and roll. So don't worry. Basically, if you feel insecure, then, you do what you have to do to feel comfortable.
Well, hey, I mean, I'm not, the COVID is one thing, but how many of us got the flu last year because we were masking up, and then we didn't get sick from anything. So, I don't want to come home sick with anything if I can help it.
That's right. Not only that, Pete, I like when people are not sneezing on me.
Yeah,
they forgot to cover their mouth, and I'm like, dude, you just sneezed on me over here.
Yeah. So
it's not a bad thing to do. But again, information, networking, rubbing shoulders, hobnobbing. Think about, first of all, just some of our vendors that are going to be there. Okay. And think about, just picking the brain of, let's say, Calm. Calm interviews so many different people, right?
Yeah.
You pick his brain. Wayne Colonna, been around for years in the transmission thing. Maybe you got a tranny question. He was one of our guest speakers, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago or so. We always get good people. Dave Hobbs, I think, is signed up already. Dave will be there. He's a great instructor and friend of ours. So So something about a mask to mug. I can't read that there, but
No, real question for Scott Tucker there. He says he's been looking into it, lives in a rural area, no one within 40 miles of my body shops, have to take it to the dealership. Yeah, I mean, again, this is where you can get some good information. And to Scott's point, on the ADOS question, again, we don't want to turn this into a class or anything, but to Scott's point, often what we see on this side of the fence is not being fully aware of the requirements of the condition the vehicle has to be in before you perform the calibration.
right.
And there's a lot to that, and there's a great impact when it's done wrong. So again, vital to I mean, you want the information, sign up live or streaming to answer Stephen Cook's question. Yes, this is a hybrid event. So if you go to that link that's in the video description, wherever you're watching, click on that, go to the TST site for the big event, and you can sign up for in person, or you can sign up to watch it virtually. And like G said, either way you sign up, you have 30 days access to the material. So, if you can't sit in front of your computer all day on Saturday, I mean, you're working, we get that. So you have access to it afterwards. And not only is that, even if you go live, that's always such a great benefit. You have all the material on that tablet, so it's easy to transport. You don't have to worry about trying to get it on the airplane. and even so, you have all these chances to go back and review the content over and over as many times as you want until you make it your own. And that's important. I think when somebody once told me it took like 5 or 6 times for you to hear something before you actually retain it. So it's always good to go back over that. Ramon's asking, gee, that's gonna leave that one for you. Will you do a big event on the West Coast?
Well, we've done one in the past at the I forgot the name of the big convention center there. Not far from Scott Brown. I can't think of the name of it. Ontario, the Ontario Convention Center. But again, now until everything returns to normal, now that may be something we'll do down the road. We do have something not on the West Coast, but we do have something coming up in the Illinois area with Motor Age.
Yeah.
So the answer for now is a TST big event on the West Coast. Right for now is probably not going to happen. Possibly in the future again. I mean, we had put everything together, made plans to do it, and then when this COVID stuff hits, it kind of just falls apart. We did have a couple of good backers out there, a couple of companies that are out in California at the time, Power Probe and Lenovo and a couple of other companies out there really gave us a helping hand. And Scott Brown and Cindy Brown. We want to thank them in ASCCA, California.
Yeah. Now again, these type of events, guys and gals, is not something you throw together over a dinner table one evening. There is a lot of work that this small crew puts into putting on the big event. I've been there when they've been loading up all the tablets with the information, and it looks like, when you're trying to untangle Christmas tree lights. Well, imagine every light being a tablet, and that's what G's offices look like right before the big event, getting everything ready.
And that starts behind that. Yeah, so that starts a week from now, Pete. You got to unbox them, you got to charge them up. You got to actually unload and reload with the right stuff on it. It's a very time-consuming event, and I do thank some of our members that come help us. All they get is a free meal out of it, and I harangue a bunch of these people into helping me, and they're all good. They all help us. It's good because they want to help the industry as well.
Yeah, and just a real quick side note for Ramon. It said, as G alluded to, keep your eyes open. Yes, October. We'll be doing something in Chicago. We're actually going to be working in tandem with the Greater Chicagoland chapter of the Midwest Auto Care Alliance there in Chicago. So look for that information coming up. That might be a little closer home to you if you can't make the live event here. And not to again, G and I we're an equal opportunity kind of team here. Tonight I want to make sure you know everything there is to know about the TST big event, how unique it is, how I think it's a great event, one of those things that should be on your bucket list. But there are training events out there on the coast there. The one that comes up in mind is, again, the Seattle event, first weekend in April, I believe.
Yes,
That'd
I'll be
be
teaching out there.
Northwest.
That's correct.
Yeah, Northwest Auto Care Alliance. So you can look that up, or you can reach out to me on whatever platform you're watching this, and I can answer those questions for you and help you get what you need. And again, if you can go to this event virtually. You don't have to show up in person if you can't make it. You can still take advantage of all the great training online, and you can always catch me and G. Now this time used to be 4 times a year. Now we're 8 times a year. Doing our live webcast together. So there is no reason, none, for you not to be able to get the training that you need and you want. We know you want it. We've seen people who've come out to these events who just didn't know where to get it. Well, I'm telling you where to get it. TST Big Event is one place that you can get a big old helping spoonful of it, okay? So I don't want to keep G up too long. I know that he's got a whole lot to do.
Well, I'll say one last thing on that. There was a guy, one of our members, Robert Kenny. He's from Albany, our capital, upstate New York. And he wrote something really nice on Facebook. He had never been to any training. Here is an ASE Master Tech and everything. And someone told him where he worked, hey, you really should go to the TST Big Event. He said when he came to our event, it opened his eyes up, okay? And he expanded it to go into vision and go into these other training events. So it is really good. And you know what he does? He gives away 1 free ticket to the TST Big Event. He buys an extra ticket and helps a technician that maybe can't afford it. And it's not that expensive, by the way.
Right.
Go check it out again at tstseminars.org, tstseminars.org. Again, like Pete said, live. I like to see you live or in person. Okay. Well, live is in person or virtual. So
all right.
Love to see you there.
Anyway,
thank you so much.
Yeah. And again, G, like I said, he's a busy man. I know what kind of a schedule that man keeps. I couldn't do it. I don't know how he does it. But
well, I got a meeting right after you.
Thank God for you and all you do and all the TST team does for this industry and for the technicians. I personally want to offer my thanks and gratitude. All the things that we've done together over the years and are continuing to do. I couldn't make it happen without you and Doreen and Pierre and the support of your organization. So with that said, we're going to sign off and bid you farewell. But again, link in the video description, wherever you're watching this. When we sign off, you sign on. Reserve your seat if you can make the live event before they're gone. And if not, be sure to sign up for the virtual event so you don't miss one single exciting minute of the TST Big Event. All right. So for that, ladies and gentlemen, Pete Meyer signing off. Y'all have a great evening.
Thank you. And thank everyone. Thanks, Pete.